Welcome to the Not Null Podcast. I'm just an AI voice, but here are your real hosts, Kevin Doyle, Sarah Kimmel, and Bobby Davis.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Not Null Podcast, the tech podcast where we discuss everything from AI to VR. I'm Kevin Doyle, and this week I am joined by Sarah Kimmel and Bobby Davis. Coming up in this episode, Scarlett Johansson speaks up about OpenAI, Microsoft to launch CoPilot+PC, and I wish I was joking, but that is the name, and Sonos headphones are finally released. And then we'll wrap up with our Null, Not Null recommendation section. One thing, before we jump in, I was listening to music right before we jumped on here, and a hype song came on for me, Europe, the Final Countdown. You know, the one with like the keys in it, whatever. I was wondering... Exactly, it's like such a hype song. It's like... That's it. Do you guys have a hype song you go to? Like, you have something you listen to that...
I have several running, because I run. I enjoy half marathons and 5Ks and things like that. So I have a few songs that if it's playing while I'm running, it will totally hype me up, and I'm just going for it.
Is it like a tempo thing with running?
Yeah. Well, so there's one song that is perfect for intervals, and it's the Dog Days.
Florence and the Machine?
I think so. I'm terrible with actual lyrics.
I think that's what that is.
Titles. Because it'll go really fast and you're and then it'll slow down for a little bit.
Okay,
and then it'll go really fast again for the chorus, and then it'll slow down. So that's my perfect interval song.
Like it. You got one, Bobby? What's your hype song? What's your bike hype song?
Well, so there's a couple, but I was riding on the Peloton, and it's funny you asked that. I was riding the Peloton, and we do FTP, which is you train your FTP, and they always play music while you're doing it. And they played the epic version at the end of this ride where you're just about to puke. Manners Maketh the Man from the Kingsman movie. And they'd never played movie music before. And it was so good. I was like, oh, they said, we're doing this on purpose. But I do like POD, though. There is another one that I play a lot. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Here Comes the Boom, basically.
Yeah,
I think that's the name of it. Yeah.
That's a classic. Yeah, I know which one you mean.
Classic, yeah.
That's a classic. Cool.
So I will mention, though, aside from running, one song that will get me super, super stoked every time is the final song from Pitch Perfect, the movie. And I don't know if you've seen Pitch Perfect, the movie, but there's a mashup song at the end. Okay. And that, I will just be in it.
Is it an original song or it's a
it's a mashup. Yeah. It's a cover, because they're the ones singing it, but there's a ton of different songs in it. Okay. So yeah.
Can't say I've ever watched Pitch Perfect.
That's a shame. I
know it exists, but I've not seen it.
I don't know if I could get through it. So but maybe. So
weekend movie, Bobby.
I understand. I understand. It's okay. I totally get it. My husband would not be caught dead watching it either, so it's totally fine.
So another week and another time we're talking about Scarlett Johansson. We're basically TMZ at this point. So I apologize for those that don't want to show up for celebrity gossip, but we're here for celebrity gossip again this week.
Got the hot goss.
We got the hot gossip on ScarJo. So we've been saying since the beginning of this thing, the very first week this thing came out, you remember we was on the podcast here and I put this voice on and I was like, hey, anything sound weird about this? And you guys were like, well, other than it's Scarlett Johansson, yes. And this was a year ago now. Yeah. So this thing's been here for a year, but it's finally coming to a head. We've called out every single time we talked about this, why is she not suing them exactly?
Right.
So it turns out this thing all came to a head when they did the demo that we talked about last week. So OpenAI did the demo with the ChatGPT 4.0 and they used the Sky voice. And then seemingly everyone caught on. That is Scarlett Johansson. Maybe with the inflections and stuff that it became more like her. I don't know, but it was always her in my mind. So everyone kind of noticed this, including a skit they did on Saturday Night Live where her husband works and they made the joke about it being her. So it was obvious this was going to happen at some point. So OpenAI has always denied this was her. So this all kicked off and she actually put out a statement about this. yesterday. So this was on Tuesday. Oh, well, on Monday. We are now on Tuesday. So here's the actual statement. I'll kind of read parts of this because the first part's very interesting. She said, "Last September, I received an offer from Sam Altman, who wanted to hire me to voice the current GPT 4.0 system. He told me that he felt that by my voicing the system, I could bridge the gap between tech companies and creatives and help consumers feel comfortable with the seismic shift concerning humans and AI. He said he felt that my voice would be comforting to people. After much consideration and for personal reasons, I declined the offer. 9 months later, my friends, family, and the general public all noted how much the newest system named Sky sounded like me." So the denial from them is basically she's saying, well, they asked me last September and then basically did it anyway. Altman since said he made a statement of his own after that statement, which seems bizarre, but he has said the voice of Sky is not Scarlett Johansson's and it was never intended to resemble hers. We cast the voice actor behind Sky's voice before any outreach to Miss Johansson. Out of respect for Miss Johansson, we have paused using Sky voice in our products. Notice, not cancelled, paused. We are sorry to Miss Johansson that we didn't communicate better. So, Sarah, shocked by any of this?
Insert the Marsha Brady "Sure Jan" gif right here.
Yeah.
But
100%.
that what you read at the very, very beginning is what shocked me, that they reached out to her to ask her to voice it. Like,
and she said no. And they
that
did it anyway.
Blew me away. Like, if there was not a smoking gun, that's the smoking gun. Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, how do you get around that? There's no way. Like, I want to see the receipts of whoever actor like they reached out to prior to reaching out to Scarlett Johansson. Because if you had a voice that kind of sounded like Scarlett Johansson, why would you even reach out to Scarlett Johansson? You're like, oh, we can do it with this girl for way cheaper than paying Scarlett Johansson. Like, there's no way that's true. No way that's true.
There's no real deniability here, is there? Yet they keep denying it.
Right.
Money, right? Has to be money at this point. They just have to be like, can we not pay $1 billion to Scarlett Johansson somehow? Maybe we just deny it.
Somehow.
Sorry, OpenAI, pay up, man. You're going to have to pay up for this. You have to.
Yeah.
I think that, number one, he tweeted Her, which is the movie. He said that Her is the favorite movie of his of all time. And maybe she turned it down because she thinks Sam Altman's creepy. Like, bro, like...
Like, okay, I know Joaquin Phoenix was in love with me, but
you're Sam Altman.
You don't need to be as well.
Right. It's like, so I think that's it. Second, I really do think it was about money, or it could be that maybe Scarlett has enough money and she says, being attached to AI is kind of weird. I mean, like, do I really want that for 30 years,
No.
or should I be paid for 30 years? So it's not $10 million. It's not $100 million. It's like $1 billion.
Yeah.
I would think if you're famous like her, and then they go ahead and do it, I think they're going to pay her about $100 million just for this, launching this.
Right.
And then they can negotiate if they can use her voice.
And you're right. They're going to have to pay her.
No matter
and
what,
not
they're
get the
paying her
voice.
now.
Right.
And you probably can't get her after you do this to her. So
No.
she's probably pissed off.
Yeah. Yep.
She's like, hard pass. I already said no. I'm really saying no this time.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
and now you're going to have to pay me too.
Right.
She got $30 million to be in Black Widow too. So it seems like the negotiations would start there.
Right.
And then when you say this is going to last for 20 years, you're like, okay, so that's $1 billion. Like, and then they did it anyway. And then he denies it. I mean, if I was on the board of OpenAI, I'm like, why did we step into this? Like, what?
Right.
Why did we do this? When you offered her a contract and now you're denying that, it's not her voice.
Right.
It's like, really, bro?
You can't get around that. Like, I guarantee she's got the receipts. You do not have the receipts of reaching out to some other actor beforehand.
So what Kevin didn't read is the other foot that dropped on this is that they called her 2 days before the release of 4.0 and said, will you reconsider? And she's busy girl. She's probably filming something. She didn't have time to contact it. And the next thing she knows, her voice is in this launch 2 days later. And I think that's really what did her in. And it's like, what? And she said, I had to hire legal counsel, which they're going to come with an army of lawyers after her.
Yeah, they are.
Yep. Here's the thing. So they pushed it too hard, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's been there for a year. We've been using it. I've been using it. It's been my default voice on the phone for the past year. They pushed it too hard in this 4.0 demo. And I believe they pushed it hard because I think, and I've said this kind of having messed with the voice thing over the past 12 months, there was only one good voice on it, and it was Sky. They actually, I believe they put more time and effort into the Sky voice than they did into the others. The others feel a little robotic and are just nowhere near as good. The Sky voice was like hands down the best voice on it. It wasn't even close. And it wasn't because it sounded like Scarlett Johansson or just sounded like her. It was because the inflections were better. It apparently did more languages than all of the other voices did. So my guess is they put a lot of effort into it and they thought, well, we know this one's the best one, so let's showcase it. And that's just got them in trouble. Had it flown under the radar for longer, it wouldn't have been an issue. While people were telling her, now it's going to be like, well, everyone's going to use it. So now I've literally got to do something about it because you have to protect your identity, right?
Right.
You can't just, as soon as one person takes it, they can all take it. This is the same lady that went after Disney. Trust me, she's going to sue you.
Yeah, they released the movie that she signed on for receipts for the theatrical release of Black Widow, and then they released it on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
right.
And they still had to pay her. They still paid her.
Trust me, she wins.
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. The lady who went against Disney and wins.
And they still wanted her back after that.
Right.
They're like, yeah, we were wrong. Sorry about that.
My bad. Sorry, ScarJo.
Yeah. So I think some of the backlash from other people or just don't realize how bad this really is when they can take anyone's intellectual property, voice, likeness, or whatever and just use it. I like this to the NCAA athletes that was playing the game of a basketball game, and then suddenly his likeness, Ed O'Bannon, was like in there, and he's like, "Hey, I'm an NBA player. This Electronic Arts game is using me for this basketball game. It's my likeness. I'm suing them," and he won. I mean, and that really started where athletes get paid today because if you're Tim Tebow or something like that, and you make the Florida Gators make $100 million off your jersey sales, like a little bit of that coin. I mean, not to get it all, but give me something, man. I mean, and I think this is the same thing, where they just can't steal it. And I also think his hubris did it. I mean, obviously he wanted this voice. There's probably receipts and email and everything where he said the voice initially wasn't good enough and it needs to sound more like her. I'm watching the movie now. It doesn't have that inflection. And he's probably berating the people trying to make this sound like it. They achieve it. Yeah. And then on the backside, he says, I'll just offer her money and get it. And he didn't realize how expensive it was going to be. And she said no. He releases it anyway. That's really a bad look. I don't think you can trust Sam Altman going forward on this.
I agree. The weird thing is, they're like, it's not the case of even asking for forgiveness, right? He didn't do it and ask for forgiveness. He asked, then did it anyway, and then said, well, can we do it anyway? So he did the whole thing. He asked for the permission, got a denial, then did it anyway. He's even worse than just doing it and not asking at all. It's so much worse.
Yeah. No, asked twice.
Yeah.
For permission, and still answer is no.
Scarlett
does not want to go to the prom, Sam.
No, she does not. So here's the question. I'm sure they trained it with all her movies, right? They could just pull them
or just
all
the
in.
her movie.
Right. Or even just interviews with her, whatever. There's just so much content out there that they could train it with. But so here's the question. It would have been probably about $1 billion in order to continue. How much do you think she's going to be looking for at this point? I said no, you released it anyway. Give me this money, and then you still can't use it. But how much do you think that's going to be?
So at this point in her statement, she's literally said she just wants transparency, right? She's not asking for money at this point. She literally says in her statement here somewhere that she's asking for transparency with it. She just wants to know why, what at this point. But the next move is definitely to ask for money. Now it has to be. It's $100 million, right? I mean, it has to be. It's in that ballpark. It has to be.
Think so.
It has to be that high. They've they can certainly pay her. Microsoft's going to end up paying this, I would guess. But somebody's going to end up paying her.
My question is, I don't know. Does Warner Brothers, who produced the Her movie, come after him as well and go, you're using our intellectual property here, man. You can't do that.
Yep.
You made an AI, which we had one in the movie before you ever thought about making AI. It sounded like Scarlett Johansson. We thought of that. You copied it. I mean,
That's interesting.
Scripts have been sued for less. I mean,
right?
I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, like, what's that worth? I mean, and then you got to understand the music industry is largely wins these battles, and so will the movie industry.
Yeah.
Largely.
Yep.
They're
The
gonna have
part
to
of Sam
pay
Altman's
them
statement
both.
that I don't believe is this part right here was never intended to resemble hers.
Yeah.
Bullcrap.
Here's what
man.
I think, though. I think on this, exactly. I think on this first
sure,
part, though,
Jan.
this part here, though, they can, I think, legally get away with because they can say the voice of Sky is not Scarlett Johansson's. It's technically true. It's not Scarlett Johansson's because I have a feeling from a training perspective, I'm not sure they used her voice as after training. I think they hired an actress that they thought sounded like her. That's who it's then. So it's like an impersonation of Scarlett Johansson. That's what they trained it on. They took an impersonation and trained it on that impersonation of her. So technically, from a legal perspective, they're saying it's not her. We didn't use any of her. That's not really her. But they chose, but they chose the person who sounds exactly like her. She's probably literally a Scarlett Johansson impersonator. I would not be shocked.
Yeah.
The thing that they've been served with now, if they've gotten a letter from the attorney, they also say we have the right to sue and you can't destroy materials at this point. And so, like, you can go to jail if you restore materials after you do this. And so they're going to interview everyone that was involved in the recording of this, whoever this actress was. They'll pull the actress in. They don't want discovery on this. Like, they're going to have to pay her.
There's
like,
an email
for
from
sure.
Sam Altman. There's
For
an email
sure.
from Sam Altman that literally says, make it sound more like Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah,
know there
right.
I guarantee that email
Right?
exists.
Yes.
So that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and make it better. It doesn't sound like the movie. I want to
Yeah.
sound, and if he mentions the movie, I think Warner Brothers, the writer of her, all of those people will come after him for this payday. And it's just something he didn't have to do. And they just,
Yep.
I don't know,
What is
man.
all of
It's
this
just-
for?
Yeah, Sam seems to be kind of like feeling his oats at this point because he had an
Right.
article last week. He says, I was chasing fame my whole life and now I'm famous. I can't even go out to eat. I'm super famous now. Like, bro, no
Dude,
one knows
I
who
don't-
you are.
I know. I
You
know
can
all
walk into
sorts
a
of
Target.
things about him, and I could not pick him out of a crowd.
You can walk into a
100%.
Target still, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wants to not be able to. Oh man, everybody's looking at me. They're like, "Who are you?"
I've seen pictures of Bill Gates standing in line at a burger joint and no one knows who he is
Right.
except for the one guy that took a picture,
Yes.
and
Yes. Yeah.
it's
100%.
bizarre. I'm beginning not to like him, so probably, he'll steal my likeness now, which won't cost him 25 cents, but still,
But hey, make him pay, damn it.
make him
Make him
pay.
pay.
I hope they do. I do think I've said this from the beginning. Generative AI has been stealing intellectual property since the very beginning, and they should have to pay for that.
Yeah.
You can't just do that. It doesn't matter if the work that comes out of it is different. What you trained it on, without it, it wouldn't exist.
Right.
And that's why they're paying all these people at this point. But now he's stepped into it, and it's going to be public, and they're going to pay a lot. I don't know what they paid for Reddit. It's going to be in that price range.
Right.
That's what the attorney's going to say. What'd you pay for Reddit? We'll take
I'm
that.
curious if he was smart enough to not put that crap in an email,
Mm-mm.
and do it on a text message or Slack or
tweeted
something
her.
like that. I know, right? So he's not smart enough to not have that. He literally reached out to her. Hey, so can we use your voice?
I think that's damning
After
enough,
he-
isn't it?
Right.
That's enough.
100%.
That alone.
That's
that
what
alone.
shocked me the most in this article. I was just like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, they reached out to her before? Nope.
They offered to pay her,
Done.
and then
Over.
by accident, it sounds like her.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
Let's,
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out. I think incoming lawsuit or just settlement, maybe.
It's a
I don't
settlement.
know. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
But she doesn't need the money, though. This thing,
Yeah.
she really doesn't, obviously. But
But
my
she should
point
make
was,
them pay.
she doesn't even want to do it. She should make them pay for sure.
Yeah.
But she could, at this point, make a deal with them. But the deal would have to be for literally $1 billion. It has to be
Yeah.
life-changing money at this point.
Yeah, it's
Because
like
she's going to be TypeScript on everybody's phone.
Oh.
She wants-
She
she
I
wants Seinfeld residuals, Friends residuals combined.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
It is that kind of
I
deal.
think too
want to just sit down for the rest of my life.
She could.
But
I
I
think
think
this is that kind of money.
She probably owes it to the industry. Like I'm sure SAG people are reaching out to him like, hey man, you're going to be the poster child for this. Defend this
Yeah.
this arena that all these other people are in. Defend them, because
Yep.
they could take the Rock's voice.
Oh, yeah.
He's coming after they use the Rocks.
Yep.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyone with like a really unique sounding voice. Morgan Freeman. I mean, come on.
Morgan Freeman, yeah, he's
Right.
off the most, right?
Yeah.
I see commercials sometimes. I was like, did they get Morgan Freeman to do this diet ad? I'm like,
Right.
I don't think they did.
I don't think that's
Right.
really Morgan Freeman, but it sure sounds a lot like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're calling it now though. I think Bobby is absolutely right. I think the movie company is going to sue as
Warner
well.
Brothers.
Her, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, whoever made it, I can't remember who made it, but
Yep.
I'll remember after they sue and we were right.
I think she's made the right move though too in sending these couple of letters or whatever it is, like you said, Bobby, to stop them destroying anything. To be like, it's an intent to sue. I think that's genuinely what it is. It's an intent to sue without actually going straight to suit. To be like, hey, can we reach an agreement here of some kind before we have to like sue you? Because they have to know they're losing. There's no way they think they're not. Deniability is not enough at this point.
Yeah.
They just have to. They have to just cop to it really and just say, yeah, we did it.
And then
Sorry.
they're,
Right.
they're
What do we owe
taking
you?
the login from his
What do we
Twitter
owe you?
account at OpenAI
Right.
is. So like,
Yes.
you can't tweet anymore, bro.
Yeah.
Like, every time you tweet,
Yeah.
it costs $100 million. So like, just
Right.
quit.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. But for us, the sad thing is we lose the voice. It's gone now.
Yeah.
It was great. The voice was great. It is gone now. So when you go to the app, at least as of last night, the last time I checked it, in the settings, when you select the Sky voice in settings, it still sounded like Scarlett Johansson in the settings. When you select it though and go into the app itself and try talking to it, it sounds completely different. I mean, not even close. Like the voice they threw away that they decided not to use, they decided to pull that one back in and use it because it sounds very different, nowhere near as good. So yeah, we'll see
Nice.
what happens.
It's like that TikTok voice that I hate.
Kind of. Yeah. It's way
But
robotic.
It makes
They're
you
not good.
appreciate some of the CEOs we have, like Nadella, who runs Microsoft, who seemingly never missteps or does anything. He's very measured in what he talks about. And Sam just doesn't seem to be that way.
Yep.
He is a true Bond villain. I mean,
He's on the Elon Musk track. Like he's hanging
Yeah.
out with Elon too much.
he might be. I don't know. But like, it's bizarre that he did this. I mean, it's just bizarre. I don't understand. Seems like they'd have attorneys and people around them that say you can't release her voice on the demo.
Nope.
You just can't. Like, we have to pick another voice.
Perfect segue into talking about Microsoft launching CoPilot+PC. And yes, that is the name of their new product.
Of course it is.
So in Microsoft, in an effort to put Copilot everywhere, I guess to recoup some of that $13 billion, they have to shove it literally everywhere. They are putting it in a new brand because it's just a brand, right? That's what this is. It's a brand because it's difficult to describe what this is because it's not a product, essentially. It's called CoPilot+PC. So it's a brand that basically indicates when PC hardware has AI built into it. That's kind of the brand as it sits. So we're talking about having hardware from all the major PC manufacturers.
All of
Lenovo,
them.
HP,
I know. I
Samsung,
read it.
Dell,
I'm like,
Acer,
everybody. It's
Exactly.
everybody. Yeah.
Everybody's got one of these, and a Microsoft Surface as well, or new Microsoft Surface. So basically, these new machines have a neural processor, an NPU, similar to the Macs that have I don't know what they call them in the Mac these days, but they have this extra chip that's basically for onboard AI and onboard processing. So the biggest news here, though, for me is all these new laptops are all Qualcomm ARM processors. So they're Snapdragon X Elites, which is these new, basically the PC equivalent of the M series chips for the Mac. It's basically what it is. It's ARM on Windows native using these chips. So some of the features that they say, it has 58% faster than a MacBook Air M3 is what they're saying. I think they said it was 89% faster than an Intel-based system, an Intel-based PC, which is crazy. So almost 100% faster, so twice as fast. But it has an all-day battery life, so this low power consumption. 22 hours worth of continuous video playback on one of the Surface Books. That's crazy numbers. So way better battery life, way more power, way better thermal management too for these things. Just like the M series chips, they're not going to have passive or active cooling. They can have passive cooling. These things are going to be like massive. They're going to be I don't think people realize how big of a shift this is. They expect to ship 50 million units in the next year from all the different vendors. That's a lot of hardware to push. One of the things they talked about a little bit more in the presentation was they talked more about the Surface hardware too. So there's a new Surface laptop and new Surface Pro using this technology as well, as along with these other manufacturers. All these come out in June too for most of these people. So these are like, you can order them now and get them for June. So Bobby, what do you think? Do you think this is as big for Windows as the Mac switch from Intel to M series was?
No, I don't know. We'll see. I don't think so. Like,
wow.
I do think they're faster. I do think they're lighter. I do think they're going to have better power management. I think all that's going to be good. The question is, can they market these things? I would have just stuck CoPilot as a sticker on it.
Yeah.
And just, it's on a PC. It's like, wow, like, you know, Captain Obvious there, you know, like, so it's got CoPilot powered or something like that. CoPilot just plus, I don't know. I mean, but the thing that's kind of weird is the recall feature, which it records everything you do on the PC and you can like search for it. That's kind of weird. I don't think people are going to like that.
I'm assuming you can turn it off. So yeah, recall is what they called it, right? They liken it to a photographic memory of everything you do on your PC that you can then use AI to recall.
Like search history, you know, and stuff like that. And like, you know, like every document.
Every action you take. Exactly. Yeah. Every setting you change, technically you can go and say, hey, on that day, did I make a setting change there? And the AI should be able to answer you and say, yeah, you changed your screen brightness from 80 to 90.
Right. So like if you take this PC and give it back to someone else, you know, like what happens, you know? So like there's some things that I don't like. I don't like the recall feature really that much. I think that's kind of weird. They're going to be $1,200 at price point. So it's cheaper than a MacBook Air for sure. Yep. I've had a bunch of Surfaces, previous Intels. They all kind of split apart. The cases came apart. They're plastic.
They sucked.
The dock was terrible. I don't know what they say I'll drive 3 monitors.
3 external and plus the 1 internal on the Surface. I believe it
when I see it.
Laptop.
Like, you know, so, because I know that even the Macs have that kind of issue, driving 3s at the low end price point. So like, this would have to have something else on it to be able to do that. I've converted over to Mac Minis for workstations here in the Mac Studio. So like, it would be hard for me to switch back to the Surface line or any other Intel PC.
Like, well, it wouldn't be Intel PC. You'd have an ARM PC, but
or any
ARM
Windows PC.
Sure.
So in full disclosure, what I'm running is a Mac OS and I run Windows on Parallels on it. And so Windows has been running an ARM for years now inside of a VM.
Right.
On M3 hardware and M2 and M1 hardware. So that's been a game changer. I mean, so I do think your Windows PC will be faster. It's quick, because if it's just as quick as it is on the Apple hardware, it's going to be quick. So I think they'll sell a lot of them. I think for your average everyday user, it's really good. At the super high end, I don't think these PCs will ever hit the high end. And so that's where you'll see a MacBook Pro will still kill an Intel chip. That's what they're going to have to sell. They're not going to sell a ARM with like 128 gigs of RAM on it.
I don't know if that's going to be the thing for them. I don't know. So
it's going to be the low end MacBook Air. That's why they're talking about the Mac Air.
Well, that's where they're targeting. They're definitely targeting. The entire press conference was basically like every comparison they gave was to MacBook Air. The whole presentation was like an hour long. They must have said MacBook Air 50 times. Yeah. Like clearly that's who they're trying to compete with.
And again, I think Microsoft CoPilot+PC is just weird. I mean, it's just like a mouthful to say. Like, what are we doing, man?
What? Microsoft has a name for something that's a mouthful to say? That's just like weird.
It even looks weird though, right? Like it's not even a good design. Like it's just
an Arial font
or what is PC on the end of CoPilot.
Like they didn't pick a font. I would just put CoPilot on it and just slap a CoPilot sticker on the front of the label. Yeah. And that denotes you have an AI neural processor. I mean, it'd be better to say AI powered and then just drop the whole thing and then just drop it on there like you used to say Intel inside and then AI powered. And you know, but I get it. CoPilot everywhere. Just call it CoPilot. That's what it is. It's on a PC.
And here's the thing, though. I don't think your everyday consumer is even going to know the difference.
100%. That is my biggest point with this. They have no idea this is even such a big jump. Yet it is a massive, massive change, and they are not going to know that they're not going to run out and buy a new laptop, even though it's twice as fast and 10 times better, because they don't know they need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Because, like, I mean, I've got a Windows PC. I've got Copilot on here right now. Like,
Yep.
So,
Yep.
you know, I know the difference, but everybody else is like, I already have Copilot. What do I need to buy this computer with Copilot on it? Like,
and you know they're going to do that part terribly. The marketing part of this is going to suck. It's just going to suck. It's going to be bad. They're not telling us like how big of a jump this is.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they can explain to people how big of a jump this is. I think if you go from an Intel-based laptop to an ARM-based laptop, it's going to be like when we went from Intel MacBooks to M1 MacBooks, and it was like, wow. Hold on a second. This 15-minute video that I was rendering over here that took me 15 minutes to render now takes 2.
Right.
That is ridiculous. The time saving is insane. And they're going to see that same time saving here.
Yeah.
I just don't know how they market it.
No.
I don't know who buys it.
Yeah.
So like the Surface Line is what I never liked about the Surface Line. We tried to use the Surface Books, but they were always like, if you wanted a development laptop and you're running a web server or whatever on it, you want something pretty beefy. And they never really addressed the beefy end of it.
No.
It was always kind of like, it's $4,000 and it's not as fast as a MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
We bought them anyway because we wanted a Windows native machine. And then the hardware came apart. The dock wasn't good. It was just not, it wasn't on Apple's level. And I think they have to address that. I mean, like MacBooks don't come apart.
Yeah.
Usually.
I'm a Windows girl through and through. And I would not touch a Surface with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. Now, can HP, Lenovo, can they come out and say, hey, this is AI and just change the game with marketing? It's possible. I could see HP maybe running a campaign and talk about the AI portions that our laptop is AI powered and just not call it CoPilot+PC.
Lenovo showed me an AI powered laptop that they had at CES. And I took some video of it. I'm going to have to revisit that video. Because I don't remember. I don't remember the conversation anymore. I just remember like taking video of it, and they're showing me their built-in AI on that. But here we go.
Yeah, there's they did announce there was a couple they announced yesterday.
Did they announce them yesterday? I mean, this might be what they showed at CES. Yeah, but
probably. Yeah.
Because it was a private tour, so.
Okay, yeah. It was what did they call it? I forget. They did have names for all of them, but
sure.
There was a couple of HP, there was a couple of Lenovo ones. The HP one was super interesting to me. It had there was an Ultra something version of it. Here you go. Look how much hardware is coming out here. It's kind of crazy. There's a lot. But yeah, so this Snapdragon X Elite, these are going to be the ones that people are going to be looking at. So yeah, there's a Lenovo ThinkPad and there's a Lenovo Yoga. So the ThinkPad is the more businessy one, right? This higher end, I think.
Yeah.
Yoga's kind of the more consumer, lower end one, I think.
Well, Yoga is high end consumer. ThinkPad is high end business.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you had a high end, you could get a developer laptop in Lenovo. They did have it. And Surface Book, even the highest end one was always underpowered comparatively to a MacBook Pro.
That's true. Like I actually have 2 ThinkPads. One for personal use, and I made the company that I am with now buy me a ThinkPad as well. But that's because my like original Yoga, I couldn't get it as powerful as I could get the ThinkPad. So I mean, it's still the Yoga brand is still high end consumer, but the ThinkPad can still go like way more powerful than the Yoga can. But.
And the Surface hardware looks cool. I mean, it looks cool. It's just confusing. You got a laptop, you got a notebook, you got this. The all-in-one unit. Even when I look at it, I'm like, which one is the good one? That's what I'm always trying to figure it out. I think it's the laptop. Yeah. But then there's Surface Book. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. This HP Elite Book, Ultra looks good though. It has kind of one of the highest specs out of all the ones that they're pushing out. It looks pretty good. And this one was just under, I want to say it was $1,800, I think. This one. So not cheap, but not like, not $4,000 MacBook prices.
Pro, yeah.
Yeah. But again, probably more expensive than a MacBook Air. So, I mean, I may get one of these at some point. I don't know how much I want to spend on one, but I want to see like, how are these really are they going to change like PCs that much? I think they are. I think we're going to see a boom of sales in these. And we're going to see a mass reduction on Intel based machines. And I think these companies know this, but I think they have so much Intel AMD stock that they're going to have to continue to sell they are not going to actively tell you how much better these PCs are than those Intel and AMD ones because they still need to sell them. They're going to tell you they're better, but the reviews when they come out, like independent people are going to tell you, don't buy anything else.
Right.
If you're buying a PC and it's a laptop, if it doesn't have a Snapdragon processor in it, you're wasting your money. Maybe it's a good deal to get an Intel one, I don't know, or an AMD one, but they're going to be on sale here any minute now. So
what they can do is add more
wait.
memory to them, and so that they can have 32 gigs of RAM or 64 gigs of RAM, depending on what these low-end machines have in them. Sometimes, even when they were selling the Air with 8 gigs of RAM, it's like, don't buy that machine. Like, it's not.
Well, it depends what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, but still, it's. I don't know. I am the wrong person. Everyone asks me, what kind of laptop should I buy? How much money do you have?
Exactly. No, that is. Well, that's always the correct answer,
so many
right?
questions.
Yeah.
Don't ask me what laptop to buy.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, okay, well, what do you need it for? How much do you want to spend? Because my answer will vary.
Mine's always $4,500, and everyone just what? I'm like, that's how much they cost.
Yeah, because it's like, how much RAM can you put in it?
Yeah,
that's what I want to put in it.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, that seems like overkill. Yeah, but 2 years down the line, you're going to say it's not. So let's just do it now. I guess I'm going to spend all that money on it. I get it, but 128 gig of RAM.
I will.
Sure, why not?
I do sound negative. I do hope these hit hard though.
Yeah.
I want them to like put the pressure on Apple like big time so that we can still have
awesome.
competitive.
Agreed. 100%. We need to keep pushing innovation.
I love competition. Yeah.
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 So I just think CoPilot plus PC. Who's the guy that names these things?
They really got to fire that whole department. Like, we got to clean house.
I mean, there's got to be marketing guys in there that go like, "That's terrible." Like,
I know. Does nobody stand up and say, that name sucks, right?
like, wow.
Is that the best we can come up with?
I think Copilot's a pretty good name, and
Copilot's a great name.
Yeah, just put Copilot on it now with Copilot.
Done.
Your PC now with Copilot, or say Copilot powered, or Copilot inside, or something like that.
Right.
I mean,
I think Intel might have
Intel would sue them.
Yeah, have some problems with Copilot inside.
Yeah. Yeah, but
they put
I like the
Copilot
idea.
inside, and they have a little ovally circle.
It goes around twice.
Would do that.
Twice. See, this one's a swirl, not a circle.
Yeah, definitely not inspired by them at all. No, we definitely didn't ask them if we could use it.
Yeah, right. We didn't ask them beforehand. We asked another Intel company to use their logo.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, quick story to finish up then. Let's talk about Sonos headphones. I'm a big fan of Sonos systems. I have a Sonos system here at home. They're super good. So there's good things and bad things, and I'll tell you my good things and bad things here in a second. But basically, a noise canceling set of headphones, which people have been wanting for a long time from Sonos. These are $450. They come in a couple of different colors, black and white, pretty standard stuff. They compete basically with the AirPod Max, the Apple offerings that are like $550. They're both QC Ultras, which are $430, so about the same price. Or the Sony WH-1000s, which are $330, which seem like the bargain here, and are probably the ones that I would buy over these. Everybody's been wanting these for a long time. Everybody's like, Sonos, you need headphones. Like, the Sonos headphones would be amazing. So they've put these out. They have spatial audio with head tracking. They have Dolby surround sound, noise cancelling. You can transfer audio from your soundbar and your TV. You basically push a button on it, and it transfers from coming out the soundbar into your headphones. Super good. The audio quality is going to be good because Sonos audio quality is amazingly good. That's one of the things they do really well. But they don't function like Sonos speakers. This is the thing that will kill these out of the gate. There's no Wi-Fi music, so you can't just Wi-Fi music onto them like it's a speaker. You cannot group them with other speakers, which is a massive feature set of Sonos. I can group my speaker over here with my speaker downstairs with the TV bar with the one in the bathroom, and I can group them in whatever configuration I want, and I can play music anywhere. You can't do that with this. So what you couldn't do with this is I couldn't send music from, like I do now. I have a turntable downstairs connected to a speaker. I can send that turntable music anywhere in the house. So I can play a record, and I can play the record up here on a speaker. You cannot play that record on these Sonos speakers. It doesn't work that way. It's like, that's the most bizarre thing to miss out ever. The missing feature is the thing that will be like, you're in an ecosystem. Why can I not group it with other speakers? It makes no sense.
I could tell you the feature they missed when I was going to ask you this question, then you told me it doesn't do it. It's like two people sit on the couch and watch the same movie. That's
no,
the
because
speaker you
group
want. Yeah,
Yep.
that's the feature, like for home theater, like an epic pair of headphones. And people think,
Right.
why would you ever do that? Why wouldn't you listen to it with your wife on the couch? Like, well, I like to turn the movie loud, and she always says it's too loud. And so what do
Yes,
you do?
she wants it lower.
Let's
Yeah,
put
yeah.
headphones on and listen to, I mean, you should listen to Fury Road at 90 decibels. That's what you should listen to, not like really quiet, So like that's for, Pitch Perfect. We turn that one way down.
Right.
Aw.
Mad Max goes way up.
Rude. Rude.
I know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the wireless convention of like having multiple speakers in there, it should have just been built in.
Yeah.
For
Use Apple technology.
$500. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. That's what's like shocking to me because like, and I have like a Sonos speaker, but I'm not an audiophile, so I don't really care about like audio quality. My husband might differ, but I just have Google assistants like everywhere, right?
Okay.
I've got like the Google Hub and like the little pucks, and so I can like do a whole home like sound, whatever. So I never really got like super into Sonos. But that's the whole like point of Sonos is that like the ecosystem where it's all like grouped together and you can like, oh, okay, I want to play this song in the backyard and this in the like living room and things like that. Like that's the appeal of Sonos. So to miss that like is weird.
So weird. Like I have this weird love-hate relationship with Sonos. The sound quality is amazing. Like a similar thing like will happen here. So we have like Amazon speakers downstairs, which I won't say her name because she'll start over here.
Yeah.
But so
you have Echoes because people call them that name, but that's not what they're called. They are called Echoes.
Yeah, right. Well, I have those. Yes, I have those. So I have one downstairs. And my wife will sometimes play music on that, and I'd be like, "We have a Sonos system.
Yeah.
It sounds like 1,000 times better. It's not even close. It sounds literally 1,000 times better. Like, just you can tell that same speaker right there to literally play it on Sonos. Right? It is connected. Like you can just ask it. Just say, "Hey, play that same thing you just played, but play it on Sonos, and it'll play it. Like it'll work. Like you can tell it which room you want it to play on. It'll work. But no, but they sound amazing. So the systems are great. The audio quality is like." It's super, super good. They're awesome sound. That's what they're known for. The all around the house thing is great, but they've made a couple of like mistakes in the past. One recently with this new app they put out, which sucks. They removed some features from the thing that people don't like. But for me, like just it's slower than the last one. The new app should not be slower than the one it just replaced.
No.
So from a usability perspective, it's not good. It just doesn't. It's not as intuitive to move around. It's just the software sucks. The hardware's great, sounds great. The software generally sucks. The interchangeability part is good. Software part sucks. Playing music, finding music is terrible on it.
Yeah.
And they've made some mistakes in the past too. They rolled out with a software update that basically defunct a bunch of speakers from before. So if you had some Generation 1s and the new Series 2 software ran out, you couldn't run the Series 1 speakers on the Series 2 software. So
that's
you ended up
lame.
having 2 pieces of software and 2 systems if you
Which
had
defeats the whole purpose.
newer hardware and old hardware, which I did.
Yeah.
Because these things are really expensive, so you tend not to buy them in one whole house go.
Right.
You tend to buy them like one at a time, right?
Piecemeal.
The speakers are like $400 at a time. You buy the TV, the soundbar is like $900. So you tend not to buy a whole system and spend 10 grand on it. You like add to it over time.
Yeah.
So you end up with newer and older stuff. So they made this older stuff like now no longer work on. It was a nightmare. It was bad. They really handled it badly. So they've made some mistakes in the past. The hardware might be good, but the company is a little bit, I don't know.
The other thing is they look kind of cool, but they are kind of plain. So this over-the-ear headphone market is very competitive because it's a lot about style. And then when you look at Bose and the Sony ones, which, MKBHD says the best headphone ever made, you're going to sell 1 million units. But every NBA
I don't think the
player
Sony ones look as good. For me, the Sony ones look the worst out of all of them.
Yeah.
Because they look the most boring out of all of them.
Yeah.
These are the Sony ones.
Yep.
They look the most boring, but they are also the cheapest by quite a chunk.
Yeah. And I've had the
I think the
Beats
Apple ones
ones,
look the coolest,
and I've had the Sony ones, and I've had the Bose ones.
Yep.
And my son wore a pair of Beats ones out. And currently he's rocking that. That's what I got him for Christmas last year. So.
Yeah. My kids are rocking skull candy because that's fairly
because they're not $330 or $500.
Right.
When you have a
I'm not buying.
25-year-old,
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna say
you
I'm
gotta
not
get-
buying my 14-year-old $330 headphones. Sorry,
Right.
son, not happening.
And so he listens to movies on those, and so that's why I was like, man, it'd be awesome because I know that he's listening to a movie. I would love to pick up another pair of headphones and like check in with it, even though I have a really good sound system at home.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
good. But if we're watching a movie on a Saturday night, it's 12 o'clock and someone's trying to sleep upstairs.
100%.
Just have to wait
Yeah.
till Fury Road's over, I guess. So
Right.
that's when we're watching it.
I mean, if you have Sonos, these will work for that. But you got to be
One
you
person.
Kind of, you're kind of on your own. Yeah.
We could share them, sit there like that.
Yeah.
Like,
You only get half of like the
Yeah.
dialogue because the
Yeah.
other half of the dialogue's over here.
yeah.
Yeah. They missed something with this, but we'll see. Maybe that'll be a software update that you can group them at some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just something they're not going to put out of the gate. But yeah, they've kind of they've missed the market with this because I would have certainly bought them had that been a thing. If I could just be listening to music like on the speaker at one point and then put my headphones on, it just transfers over like that. That would be key. I would love that. That would be great, but it doesn't do that. Okay, time to talk about our recommendations then, our null, not null recommendations section. What you got this week, Sarah?
So if the Pitch Perfect thing didn't out me as a female, this might.
Okay, go for it.
So I'm a female and I carry a purse. And my friend showed me this once and I was like, I need that. And so I bought it. I just bought it on Amazon, like super cheap. It's like a little pill thing. So I've got like all these pills.
Okay.
So it's like pain medicine. I've got like Pepto-Bismol. I've got an allergy.
So organized.
Right?
Okay.
So like, and then I think I have a couple Band-Aids right here. Like, and it's just like this teeny little thing that like just I throw in my purse. And anytime I'm like out and about and somebody needs like, hey, do you have some aspirin? I do actually.
This is like the ultimate mom gadget.
I was going to say,
Right?
like, you
That's
got
what
to
I'm
mom it
saying.
up. That's what it should say.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, if I'm not already outed as a female, this is going to do it. But yeah, it's like the ultimate mom gadget.
Yeah. I like
So,
it.
Like,
And this is just from Amazon?
Amazon. Yeah. It's like,
Okay, cool.
$5-10 or whatever. Like,
I will find it and put the link up. The link will be in the
Yeah.
description.
No.
Okay, you got anything this week, Bobby?
Yes, I do. I
Go for
told
it.
you earlier I didn't, but I do now. I thought of it now.
he's like, I lied.
I've got
Go
my
on.
pre-order tickets for Furiosa next week on Thursday for IMAX. So
Ah, there you go.
it's supposedly it's a movie by George Miller, supposed the best prequel ever made. And so,
Wow,
like, if
that's
you want to
cool.
see this movie, and we can't wait to see this. It took 79 days to film one of the sequences in this movie in the desert.
Wow. They did a lot of practical on these movies,
Yes,
didn't they?
it's always practical. If you've seen Fury Road,
Yeah.
and you see the guys,
One of the best
going
movies
from
ever
the
made. So
sticks,
underrated.
going back and forth, you're like,
Yeah.
it's all practical. Like,
Yeah.
those people are crazy. Like, I'm sure people got hurt doing it, but like, and they're saying that Chris Hemsworth is going to win supporting actor for this movie.
Wow.
Interesting.
It premiered at Cannes,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
weird, isn't it, for
crazy
this kind of movie.
for this
Cannes.
kind of movie.
Cannes.
The Cannes Film Festival. I'm in North Carolina. I can say Cannes.
Yeah, totally unheard
You
of for this kind of
absolutely
movie.
Can. Yeah, that is unheard of. Because I remember when Lord of the Rings came out, like how all the like, sci-fi fans, like fantasy fans were like, this has gotta win some sort of Oscar. And then like the first two, like they were totally snubbed until like finally Return of the King. But
Yeah.
like still, it was still fairly minimal for like what it was. And you're
Right.
like, you guys suck.
Fury Road's one of my favorite movies. So underrated. It's such a stylized thing in that movie. The way that it's like, tell you what. One of the things I really like about it, which often goes unnoticed, is the speed of the
Yeah, the
movie.
speed ramps.
Because it has like the speed ramps when the fighting scenes happened. It's like when I first watched it, I was like, oh no, is this my movie broken? Like, is this bad? Is it like streaming weird? And I was like, oh no, this is by design. It's
This
like
George
designed
Miller. Yeah.
to be faster. It's like a
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
And Immortan Joe has to be one of the best bad guy characters ever. And he's in this too. He's in Furiosa, so
Mhm.
it's gonna be great.
And Tom Hardy's in it, so that's a big surprise. So he's got a cameo in it. So Mad Max
Okay.
is in the movie. So that explains why when you watch Fury Road, and tell you how far George Miller was planning, when you see the first scene between Furiosa and Mad Max, you're like, like they know each other. They're like staring each other down like, oh no, it's her, it's him. Like what, and so apparently that's going to be answered in this movie too. So
nice.
Chris Hemsworth, I think is going to be great. Furiosa.
So we'll get your review next week.
Yeah. I expect it to be great. And in the same week, I got my Deadpool tickets, but like I'm more excited about this one than this.
Ooh, Deadpool.
So,
Speaking of movies, though, sorry to interrupt the Love Fest, but I saw If this week, and I really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, that's the Ryan Reynolds thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you see that yet, Bobby?
No, I didn't see that one, but I will maybe.
Maybe.
Right after I watch Pitch Perfect. So.
Right.
No, I will watch that. I do want to see it, but I watch it when it streams.
I thought it was my son's birthday, and that's what he wanted to do. So.
I'm sure it was great. I mean,
it looks great.
It's true.
Cast is amazing.
Definitely not like you don't have to see it in the theater for sure.
Right.
But it's a great movie. I liked it a lot.
And Ryan Reynolds is on a streak right now, so I think he's going to
my gosh. Yeah.
Yes,
Free Guy was amazing. I don't know if you guys saw Free Guy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I loved Free Guy. Yeah, he's on a big time streak. I don't know, like we talked about this a long time ago. But I don't know if you ever ended up watching Welcome to Wrexham. I mean, they're on like season 3 now.
Oh yeah.
I'm not on Hulu. I want to watch it though because I'm very interested in that.
So good. But my favorite part of the beginning is Rob McElhenney going, "So I needed money." And I have TV money, but I needed like movie money.
Movie money. Yeah.
And then he's like, I didn't just need movie money. I needed superhero movie money. Like, I didn't just need superhero movie money. I needed like alcohol money. Like, because he's got all these like brands and everything too.
He sold off the phone thing and the gin company for like ridiculous money.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
He's made a fortune on those things.
He's
Welcome to Wrexham's great.
Rich.
So good.
And he's going to make a fortune in Wrexham. They got promoted.
Yeah.
I
know.
Twice.
Twice. I was going to say they got
Spoiler.
promoted twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a spoiler. It's totally
I mean, if you haven't seen the season.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can see it's a sports thing. So like it's a documentary. So
right.
I mean, if you
it already happened. Yeah.
If you don't know anything about football, getting promoted is no easy feat regardless of what level you're at.
And getting promoted twice is almost unheard of.
It's unheard of.
Them, and then there's another team that went 2 divisions this season too, Ipswich Town, who have gone to the Premiership now too, who went up 2 seasons back to back. It's hard. It's very hard. Those leagues get progressively difficult.
Right.
You have money and
they
players
really do.
and like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a big jump between each one of them. So to keep getting progressively, like, keep going up is very impressive.
Yep.
Okay, while we're on the movie thing then, remember my note from last week, Madam Web, when I watched half of it and I didn't give it a fair shake? Well, this week, I'm ready to give it a null.
Shocking.
So, here's the thing. Not because it's the worst movie I've ever seen, because I don't think it is the worst movie I've ever seen. I've seen worse, right? Okay. I definitely have seen worse.
I do want to hear people's worst movies they've ever seen, but keep going.
The expectations were so low that I think maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So here's the thing, though. It is a bad movie, and here's the reason I thought it was a bad movie. Bad guy's boring. He's not even that bad. There was no character progression. Like, I didn't care about any of them. There's no superheroes in it. Like, there's no heroes in it. You only see the heroes in like these weird flash forward moments. They're not actually in it. The people who are dressed as spider people in it aren't even in it. They're in a weird flash forward moment. And that's it. This entire movie should have been a 10-minute prequel of an origin story. They could have literally made this in 10 minutes, put it on YouTube, and made an actual movie with the characters in it.
The problem is
why they did this. I have no idea.
Here's the other problem, and this is why I didn't watch it. Period. Is because Madam Web from the comics and this Madam Web are 2 different people. Like it's not even like they didn't even copy the character from the comics. Right? She's like 68 years old and can travel through time. I mean, like she's not a.
Well, that's what they allude to, and that's what I'm saying. This feels like a weird origin story that that could have been told in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
She becomes that character at the end of the movie. Spoiler.
Yeah.
Right? That's what she becomes at the end of the movie. But the entire rest of the movie, she's just this person who doesn't know what's happening. Like, It's such a weird movie. So strange. It didn't make any sense. So, yeah, definitely gets my null. My not null for this week, though, is, so I'm a fan of the Quest 3 headset. And I have the extra strap on it that's not the standard strap. I have a Bobo VR strap. Well, they came out with brand new batteries for that system. So the issue with it was that the old batteries just didn't have enough power on them. And so they sold a new headset. But here's what they did. Instead of just selling you a whole brand new headset, they gave the option to upgrade the power pack and upgrade the harness for the power pack. So you basically unscrewed the old one from your headset and screwed a new one in, and you now get these removable batteries, which are double the size of the old ones. So
Nice.
they're so much better. They look like this. Look, this is the new battery, and this is the old one. So just for size comparison, this is a 5,000 milliamp. This is a 10,000 milliamp.
Wow.
They're practically the same size.
Right.
This
Looks
is
like a bar of
tiny bit. Yeah, this is a tiny bit heavier. That's it. And these just basically clip on the back like that. I bought the harness and an extra battery, under $100 for the two. Like, definitely recommend, because that's the one thing with a Quest 3. The battery life is like pretty crappy. If you're watching video on it, it's like 2 to 3 hours. It's not the best.
Sure.
These things will extend it 2 to 3 hours more easily on 2 batteries. You get double the time. If you're watching a movie or something, it's great. I watched the boxing over the weekend on it on VR in a theater with a bunch of people. It was great.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So yeah, would definitely recommend, if you have a Quest 3, look at getting a different head strap for it. And then these batteries, can't recommend them enough. Well, that is it for this week's episode of the Not Null Podcast. If you could leave us a review and a rating somewhere, we would very much appreciate that. You can also drop us an email. Where can they drop that email to, Sarah?
The Not Null Podcast at AOL.com.
That's it. The Not Null Podcast at AOL.com. And we will see everybody next week.
They called me up, said I was the one to voice the future, bring it to the sun. But I declined, had my reasons, my own. Never thought they'd use a sound so close to home. Now I hear my voice in every line, echoes of a choice that wasn't mine. Sky, not starlit, that's what they say. But I hear my words, I hear my way. Sky, not starlit, echoes in the night. The line so blurred, it doesn't feel right. Sam said her was his favorite show. Wanted my tone, but I had to say no. Yeah, here I am, caught in this play. A voice so similar, it led me astray. Now I'm seeking truth in all this noise, forced to fight to protect my voice.